Dungeon Drafters for me came out of nowhere. I had no expectations, and yet I was pleasantly surprised with how good this game is. I obviously love it, but will you? I'll go over a bit of the story, gameplay, and my pros and cons for Dungeon Drafters so you can get an idea if it's worth your time and money. Let's get started. The story and setting of this game takes place in a magical world where there are four very powerful beings that live in harmony with each other. They all work together to create this world. However, there was a fifth one who wanted more power. They once again banded together, this time to seal that evil. Many years later, some individuals happened upon the tower where the evil was sealed, and now it's slowly leaking out to the rest of the world. So here we are now. You play as an adventurer looking to journey to the tower and do your part in sealing the evil away once and for all. Dungeon Drafters is a deck building roguelite. The primary game loop consists of deck building, dungeon diving, and extra side stuff. Let's start with deck building. So depending on your starting character, it determines your avatar sprite as well as your starting cards. You have a deck of 40 cards and can customize it throughout the game. This deck is used for combat, puzzle solving, and more. You can't just throw any card in your deck though. You need to set gems, which are the different colors / affinities in this game. For example, red equals raider cards. These are primarily damage dealers and can easily wound enemies. Then there's green, which is the traveler's archetype. This one can allow you to take more actions and is generally more mobile. There's a lot of color gems as well as clear gems, which give you special passives, but in turn lower your gem rank for specific colors and thus limits what cards you can add into your deck. You can freely add and remove cards as well as create and save decks for different situations, all within the hub before adventuring. So basically determine your deck type, whether it be single or multiple gems, then add said cards into the deck until you have 40 to 50. There's a lot of nuance there, but that's the simple explanation for deck building. Now let's move on to dungeon diving. The overall goal of the game is to enter the tower and seal the evil. However, the tower at the beginning of the game is pretty difficult to overcome without new cards and equipment. So you have lots of other dungeons to choose from. Going to these will net you more money, cards, and unlock new features. These dungeons are all themed differently, like a shipwrecked ocean, a forest, and a fortress of fire. With this being a roguelike, it's all about going as far as you can and either escaping, defeating the boss, or losing a run. If you escape or beat the run, you'll get tons of loot. If you lose, you drop everything you've obtained that run. All of the combat takes place on grids. It's turn-based with you having 3 actions before all of the enemy takes actions themselves. So moving, attacking, and playing cards all take an action point or AP. Each region has their own enemy types and room gimmicks to overcome. You'll travel to different rooms on a procedurally generated map that consists of lore rooms, combat, puzzle, and event rooms. Gold, single cards, and card packs are treasures that are found within the runs. Once you bring them back to town, there's a lot of things to do with your goodies. For gold, you can duplicate cards, buy new gem types, and send for new different types of equipment. For the single and card packs, you can put them in your decks. Each pack is themed and usually has certain archetypes linked to it. So if you want more blue cards, simply go to the ocean level more often. And finally, let's talk about the side stuff. There's mini games like fishing, slime puzzles, and even more challenges like draft runs, set deck runs, and more. Some of these are available right off the bat, and some unlock as you defeat bosses and generally get further in the game. So that's Dungeon Drafters in a nutshell. What about my overall thoughts on the game though? I really think this is one of my most favorite deck builders to come out in a good while. First of all, I love the art style. It's sprite based, good animations, cool artwork, the cards look neat, and I especially like the turn transition art from you, the enemies, and the bosses. The music is top notch. This is just one of those games where I'm definitely going to be downloading it all and will be using it in videos and streams as background music. Just the overall gameplay here is fun. Runs typically take around 20 to 60 minutes depending on if you escape or get to the end. You're always making progress, whether it be finally defeating that one boss, getting new equipment, tweaking your deck, and completing side quests. I was streaming this game the other day, and one of the developers popped in the chat, hung out, and helped out for a couple of hours. It was really neat, as I was able to understand the game more, learn about their priorities, and decision making for mechanics. One big thing that we talked about was bug fixes and upcoming changes in general. If I was going to make this Dungeon Drafters review a week ago, it would have been lukewarm at best. It was littered with so many annoying bugs. The biggest one being a complete progress halt with the UI in game completely freezing, causing you to lose all progress of that dungeon you're in. That was a huge turnoff for me, and I ended up shelving the game for a couple of days hoping they'd fix it. Since then, there's been around 5 or so patches that came out. A lot of it addressed the issues I initially had, so I got back on the game and continued having a blast. There are still some things though that might still be deal breakers for some gamers. Alright, so what are the current issues this game has going forward? Well, first of all, though it's a very fun game to get into, if you're not used to the deck building and keywords and synergies and stuff, you might get completely lost here, at least at the beginning. The developers here love Magic the Gathering, and it very much shows here in card design and complexity. There's so many different mechanics to learn and remember, and yes, while all of the resources to figure it out are all in game, some gamers just might not have the patience. But if you do, this is one of the most rewarding single player deck building roguelikes I've played in a while. There's so much freedom and possibilities in your builds. The fact that you're continuously obtaining newer and newer cards, gems, make it so you're going to be experimenting with lots of archetypes and lots of combinations. It's pretty awesome. Another thing that could be an issue is the control scheme. I initially tried to play only on controller, which is not implemented too well at the moment, I would say. It's definitely on their radar to improve, but on controller, you can't hover over keywords easily, see enemy intents fast enough, and it's just overall clunky. The best way to play, at least right now, is with keyboard and mouse. Another gripe people might have is with the UI itself. The deck building feature is here, takes time to get used to, but yeah, once again, it is clunky. It's a word that might fit a lot of this game, but at least it's not broken. This can be fixed, and after talking with the developers and seeing how fast they are churning out updates, I have no doubt that this will be a very polished game in the upcoming months. So overall, Dungeon Drafters is a good freaking game. There's a lot here, especially with the draft runs and set deck run challenges. They teased more upcoming content on the roadmap, and I can't wait to see what they come up with. It is worth playing 100% if you like grid-based, turn-based deck building roguelikes. The overall presentation of the well-animated sprites, fun, colorful world, and amazing music is just icing on the cake. I highly recommend Dungeon Drafters. So if you guys enjoy, leave a like, it helps a lot. If you haven't already, subscribe for daily videos. If you're interested in seeing my Dungeon Drafters Let's Play, there's a link in the description to my Let's Play channel called MabiVsGames 2. I'm uploading it daily, and please come by Twitch where I'm streaming most of it as well. So let me know what you guys think of this game down below. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Maybe what's one thing holding you back, etc. Let me know. And everyone else, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.